kitchen in the first cottage. People who live in this house are really poor. Basic kitchen. Still need to video. Come this way. This is the living room. Like James's coat line. Really good. Show me Michael.
Hi.
This is the living room.
That's James.
Right. Wash your head. This is the bathroom. All the wet towels lying. Nope. Back to them.
That's where Dad spends most of his time.
This is bedroom number 1. This is where the boys were. Shush, you didn't need to open the door. Bedroom number 2. Angie's room. Bedroom number 3.
By now you have seen round the house, but have you noticed that there's an atmosphere about this house? Something strange. Not long after we came here, the woman and the man who showed us around was acting sort of strange and acting edgy, and of course they couldn't wait to get away, but they said nothing. When we came in here, we went and we got our different bedrooms sorted out. We got our different bedrooms and where we were going to sleep and that. And the first night we were here, everything went fine. The second night that we were here, we heard some of the most terrifying sounds that we'd ever heard in our life. There was this loud, high-pitched scream. Just like that. And not only was there screaming, there was banging noises, which we couldn't understand. It woke us up in the middle of the night. Every one of us was terrified. The atmosphere was absolutely electric. And it was a strange situation, because we didn't know what was happening. Out of the pure blackness came this noise. So we got out of our bed and we huddled into the one room, frightened to move, and we stayed there for another hour. We had just drifted off to sleep again when there it was again, that high-pitched scream. Wondered what was happening. Again we woke up and we stirred. We put on the light and it came down into the living room, and as it came down through the door, eyes focused on this corner here. And over in that corner I saw one of the most terrifying sights I've ever seen in my whole life. It was a man that was huddled up, he was working in there, and he was that deformed. I've never seen anything like it in all my life. It was the next day when the woman came back and we asked her about the house, and she wouldn't say at first. She was a wee bit frightened to speak, and then eventually she told me the story that happened here over 100 years ago. It was just the forest that you saw at the beginning. Behind that forest is a big manor, and there lived a man called Thomas Shepherd Law. And he had a wife, and his wife and him had a child. But they had, in actual fact, it was twins that they had. One of them was born perfect and without flaw, but the other one was born deformed. He had a big face, a small body, and they couldn't let him out. Both the children survived and both lived in the manor. But then, as they grew up and grew up, the deformity seemed to get worse. One of the brothers was able to go out as he pleased, the other one had to stay within the confines of the manor just behind the forest that you saw out there. The one that was deformed began to build a tunnel, and he built a tunnel all the way down from the manor down to just inside this cottage. This cottage was different at one time. There used to be a door here, and that door led into another room, and behind this place was another room, and in that room there was a tunnel, and that tunnel led all the way underneath the ground through to the forest and to the manor. Through that window, the tunnel is still there, and also the bricks where it was burnt down by the villagers over 100 years ago. And here's what happened on that tragic night. The man that was deformed, he was a lonely man, and what he used to do is he built this tunnel down through here, and this cottage here was let out to travellers. And what happened was, when the travellers had any children, or if they had any young daughters which they thought was eligible, what they used to do was, this deformed one would come down through the tunnel in the evening, and he would come into this room, and he would come in and up the stairs, and as he went up the stairs he would go into each room until he come upon the young person. And of course, as soon as they saw him, they were absolutely terrified. He scuppered the way back. But then, in the middle of the night sometimes he would sneak in, and if there was any women or children on their own, he would come into their room, and he would get hold of them, and he would take them, and he would kill them, and he would take them apart bit by bit, and he would eat them. He was so terrified of company or anyone seeing his face, he just had to destroy everything that he saw, until one day they heard about this down at the village. They heard the screams through the night, and they just couldn't handle it any longer. And what happened was, the villagers one night decided to get together, and they came up, and of course just as they heard the screams within the cottage, they broke in, came in through the cottage door, came right in through this room, saw the deformed man, and they killed him. They destroyed him, they stabbed him, they cut off his head, and they did all these things to him. Then they burnt the other room down. And as you look through these curtains, you can see behind the curtain before you. You see the entrance to the tunnel all the way through to the manor. And down on the ground there you see the rubble left of the room that used to be behind this window. You can see there's a bike covering over the entrance to the tunnel. Perhaps we'll get a better view from the other window. Here we are at the other window, and you can see closer. You can see better the entrance into the tunnel going through to the manor. But on that fateful night, all this was destroyed, and all that's left is a bundle of rubble. The entrance has been blocked further up, so that no one can get through to the manor again, or from the manor back to here. But they still say that the ghost of the ogre still roams about within the confines of these walls.